Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome to another episode of The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. I was thinking the other day, actually, I was just talking to a friend the other day. We went out to dinner. She was in town, unexpectedly called me up and was like, hey, I'm in town. And I was like, oh, I'm dropping everything and we're going to go get dinner because it's a sister friend I absolutely love. And so at dinner, we were talking about, how we've evolved since we met. We met on Periscope, which is an app on that looks like a social media app that we met on years ago, probably like 8-9 years ago now. And we were just talking about how proud we were of each other and how we've grown in our careers and all the things. And one thing that I said to her, I was like, while I have grown significantly in my career and, in my finances and that kind of thing, I feel like I would be further along if I had stayed on track with doing my daily affirmations. I found this book and it was a journal. I looked at the journal, I found it in one of my drawers. You know how those things pile up in your desk drawer. So I found it in my desk drawer and I was looking through it and I noticed how I was so intentional and so disciplined with every day writing. It was the same sentence. I was writing the same sentence every day that was affirming my intelligence, affirming my beauty, affirming my discipline, affirming my faith, and affirming my confidence. Like I can do and be anything I want to do and anything I want to be and anything I want to have. It was months and months, actually years of me writing this sentence over and over and over daily. And this was also a time when I was really focused on, Think and Grow Rich and listening to all of these motivational speeches, Eric Thomas and Tony Robbins, Miles Monroe, like just all the time, and listening to Joyce Meyer. Like I was really intentional every morning about what I was going to do when I got up. And I feel like I was going a lot faster towards achieving some of the goals that I had for myself. And in addition to that, every year I was very intentional and took time, a couple days or a weekend even, to do a vision board. The vision board was in alignment with the things that I was writing about myself, things that I wanted to achieve career-wise, things that I wanted to achieve with my GYSB health and fitness movement. It was very strategic and it was all aligned. What I was saying and affirming, what I was listening to, what I was reading, what I was implementing, what I was putting on my vision board, it was all in alignment. And I feel like I was going so much faster. And I don't know what happens, but there are these moments where you get further and further and further away from the things that you're doing that are working for you. Like that stuff was working for me. I wasn't as addicted to social media. I was super, focused on my health. I was working out with a schedule and I was treating my workouts like very important appointments. And I was putting great things into my body and I was meal prepping on Sundays. Like I was doing all the right things. What happened? People say, oh, life be life. And it does. Life is gonna life. But it's so important that we stay focused on the things that are helping us get through the times when life is lifing. You don't put those things that are serving you well on the back burner. You don't marginalize that because life is lifing. You make time for them. You figure it out. You figure out a way to keep them at the forefront, keep them a priority. And I didn't. And it looks like when I'm looking at these notes and looking at the last time I did a vision board, it was right before the pandemic. And the pandemic allowed us to have more time. Yes, we were anxious because we didn't know what the world was going to look like in the future. We were scared that we were going to lose our lives because of this disease. But we had more time. And I did utilize, some of the time in the house to do some awesome things. But I should have also taken those strategies, the affirmations, the listening to the motivational stuff, the listening to the word and to reading my Bible and making these vision boards. I should have taken that into the pandemic time, and I didn't. And so I found that journal and I told myself, you really need to get back to this. You need to get back to this. And I've done it. Yesterday I did some journaling, and it was a new sentence that I'm writing with those same elements, as far as confidence, brilliance, beauty, things that I want to see and do, right? I did put that into the journal, and I want to make that a thing, a daily thing again, so that I can, look back at all of these times that I got up and I was disciplined in doing this thing. And, I had homes on my vision board, right? I'm going to buy a home. And I actually did. Have a home built. This was in Tulsa, and it was an investment property that I purchased with my mom and my sister, but it was on my vision board that I was going to be a homeowner, right? And if I would have just stayed the course and kept that at the forefront and kept that as a priority, I may have, I may be at a place now where I could own a home here in LA. Now that's a huge North Star kind of thing. If that's something that I really, really desire, it's going to take a lot of time and energy and money and planning in order to own a home that I'm proud of here in LA, because it's just so expensive. I do visit the homes on Saturdays and Sundays when they're open, and I go in and I dream and I imagine myself in beautiful spaces like the ones that I'm visiting. And I oftentimes will step into the homes that are more Spanish style, because that's what I really love. And so I envision myself in those spaces. And I look at the way that some of them are staged, and some of it is cool. Some of it is like, I don't know if I would do that, but it's inspiring. And what I'm starting to do is I take there's a paper there that tells you about the home and has like pictures of the different rooms and the outside and the price and all of the things that tell you, the specs about the house. I took one from this house that I really loved and I put it on my refrigerator. And what I need to do is create a vision board and put the home on the vision board, along with many of the other things that I say that I desire for myself. I need to get back to the thing that was working. It was working. It was keeping me away from all of the distractions. And when I tell you that Instagram, that Facebook, that TikTok, there are so many distractions out there that keep us away from the things that we really should be focusing in on, because life is not going to get any easier. It's only going to get harder. The divide between the have and the have-nots is only going to get wider. And so, now is the time to really focus in on ourselves, focus in on our dreams, and really be intentional about every single day moving closer and closer to the goals that we have set for ourselves, and get closer and closer to achieving those goals. Because it's time that we get really serious. It's time that we get serious about our finances. It's time that we get serious about setting measurable goals for ourselves and looking to see what progress we're making. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you design the life that you want for yourself, and you speak it and you write it and you visualize it on the daily, and you put it on paper and you hang it up somewhere, or put it, you can do digital boards on your phone. We've got to get centered on what we want for ourselves. We've got to get rid of all of these distractions. I did, an episode, I think last week, it was a 3-Minute Thursdays, about, taking time away from social media and really getting more invested in our futures and getting more centered and focused on the things that we need to be doing on a daily basis. What do we need to be reading? What do we need to be writing? I don't know if you listen to Dan Coe, but Dan Coe is a business strategist and entrepreneur. I think he used to be a gamer, but he talks about the importance of reading and writing every single day. And he's very disciplined with that. He's a multimillionaire, but he's very disciplined with like getting up daily and writing at least 500 words a day. And he really gets centered and focused on something that's really important to him, where he wants to grow and expand his knowledge in that area. And so he will spend time every day 500 words or more writing on that specific topic. So, and if we can take some notes out of the Dan Co advice, I think that would be a great start, right? So affirm yourself, you guys, whatever that looks like. Do it on the daily. Spend time on yourself. I know people talk a lot about meditation. I don't meditate in the way where you're sitting and it's quiet and, you're doing like that kind of meditation. I wish I had the patience, and maybe if I did it on a regular basis, I would grow in that area, but it's not something that works well for me yet. But there are other things that I do and or did and want to get back to that, because those were the things that were working for me. All right. I hope this is helpful. I hope it has inspired you in some way to, really get focused on the things that you want for yourself, because you can have them. You can have them, right? It's easy to say, "Oh, you can be and do anything you want to be and do." You can, but it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen with us saying yes to all of the different things that are calling us that are not in alignment with what we say that we want for ourselves. Have you ever seen it's a little thing that comes up on Instagram if you're about to share something in the DMs, if you're about to share something with somebody, and it may be something that you probably shouldn't be sharing, but a little message comes up and it says, "Does this support your goals?" Does this support your goals? And I always laugh. I go ahead and share it because I have a friend that I share things with on social media in the DMs, and it's always, something just between us. And no, sometimes it is not supporting my goals, but I say all of that to say you need to ask yourself when you're getting ready to do something that is, maybe a distraction or maybe something fun, but you don't need to do it right then because maybe you did it the other day. Or maybe you don't need to spend money right here because you're saving it and trying to do something else. Ask yourself, does this support my goals? Is what I'm supposed to do, is what I'm about to do supporting the goals that I say that I have for myself? Ask yourself that question. And then you make your decision after you get the answer, the real answer, the real honest answer. Then you move forward in a different direction if that is not going to support your goals and dreams that you have for yourself. All right. Okay, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Don't forget, share it out. Share this episode with a friend or a relative, or share it on your Instagram story. Just share it out. We're trying to grow the podcast. And I think that there are, some good episodes here that could help somebody, right? Could bless somebody. So don't keep it a secret. We're not trying to be the best kept secret. We're trying to be the number one podcast for women in midlife who want to grow and evolve and elevate to their next level of optimal living. That's what we're doing here. We're talking about things that matter, things that are going to help us evolve into better people. And to be successful, whatever that looks like for you. All right, guys, I will see you on the next episode of The Bright Side of 50 with Carla Palmer. Take care.